Hey everybody, welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 384 for January 27th, 2016. I'm Ryan Shrout.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Allyn Malventano.
I should have known this a while ago, but I now understand, like, we're at 384. Had we done a podcast like this every day, we could populate more than a full year of shows.
Scary, isn't it?
So if
A lot of content.
if such a person existed that said, I want to listen to a PCPer podcast every day for all of 2016.
They couldn't do it.
Yeah, you could.
Well, you might just be able to now. They're like the first 33 are lost.
The issue is we think we only have back to episode 34 in audio format somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like we just don't have the ones before it's saved?
They weren't hosted on Amazon S3, which is where all the podcasts are hosted at now. And I don't know where they were.
Where the files are.
They were hosted on a RAID you had access to.
Oh, no. I've recovered all of Ryan's raids for him.
I would bet if I really, really tried, I could go into my basement.
Find a reel-to-reel that it's saved on.
You know
or
what?
something?
I think I actually finally had PCs recycled and stuff. Like, had them. Remember, I would always talk about in my office, there were always, like, my last 4 computers. Because when I upgrade, I just build a new machine and put the other one aside.
So you're saying those files are on those systems?
They would, in theory, still be on those systems. But I think
Because you gave me all the hard drives.
Did I give you all of them? No, I gave you some of them, but
some.
Yeah, those were hard drives that were like used for testing at some point that were no longer used.
I have the Velociraptors. That's probably what you'd put in your system.
No, I don't. They would still be in the case.
Oh,
I don't know.
Lost
it's very
forever.
sad now.
They're lost.
If anybody has them, feel free to send me a link.
Yeah.
To them.
I can't imagine.
I would love to hear
the first
PCPer
episode.
podcast number 1 again. Because listening to number 34 is kind of painful.
I'm sure some people that listen to this are the kind of like archive nuts that kind of like had downloaded
just you.
like all of them.
Like if you didn't have them, then
I didn't.
Yeah, see.
I never
Who would
went
that have
back.
been? Lee, you and I.
It
we have a fourth?
probably would have been just the 3 of us. Because I think it was just the 3 of us for a while. And Josh came on like in the 60s or 70s maybe.
Maybe I thought it was earlier than that, but not
Maybe
much.
because I happened to listen to somebody asked for like I want to find all the back episodes. YouTube only went back to like 130, I think, and I sent him a link to our Vimeo account, which had all the way back to like 80 or 70 or something like that.
I think.
And I happened to just like we had just published episode 383, and so I said, okay, I'm going to take off the 3 and do 083. What's on the 383rd podcast? And it was just me and Allyn.
83?
83. No.
What the heck were we talking about?
Well, it was because it was over Christmas or Thanksgiving, and everybody else was out occupied.
And just you and I did a podcast.
Yeah.
And I would have been in Virginia.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So both of us were like...
It was probably a riveting discussion of some sort.
It's probably the best episode.
Probably the best episode. Anyway, welcome to the show, guys. We do record the show in live fashion on video at pcper.com/live at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific on Wednesdays. If you need a gentle reminder for that, you can go to pcper.com/subscribe, which is this page here. And all it does is ask for your name and your email address. We send you notifications when we do live streams. Like we're going to have one tomorrow. In fact, where we'll talk about it a little bit later in the show, but we're going to do a live stream, like a racing gaming live stream, where Josh runs around in circles around all of us. I attempt to drive backwards. And crash into him.
Yeah.
I get mad at the games that don't.
You'll only be able to drive slow and then try to intercept somebody.
That's fine.
And screw them up.
Can I go in reverse?
No, you can't because it'll
right
tell you no. No.
Man, this is baloney. Anyway, that one's going to be pretty cool because we're going to give away a racing wheel, right, Josh? Which one are we giving away? The
Yes, the Thrustmaster T150, which I had reviewed some months back.
Yeah,
it's a full 1080 degrees force feedback number, $200 piece of equipment, so it's nice.
Does it have a suicide knob on it, so you can do that 1080 real quick?
Yeah.
Sweet.
So that'll be tomorrow. We'll send out an email about that sometime in the early afternoon to remind you this goal. The target is 5:30 p.m. Eastern. We really have to do that because I have to do something later in the evening. So 5:30 p.m. Eastern, pcper.com/live for that. And you have to be there live in order for your chance to win the racing wheel sponsored by Thrustmaster. So Other things of note, if you are just catching up, maybe you just got your paycheck in and you're like, you know what, I really love Ryan and Allyn and Ken and Sebastian and Josh and Jeremy and all the guys that contribute to PC Perspective. I wish I had a way to contribute. Well, we have that way.
Just mail me a check and
do not mail a check to Ken. Do not do that. It will not go towards these funds. If you go to if you go to patreon.com/PCPer, we have a Patreon page, which is essentially, if you don't know what Patreon is, it is a online-based system with which users can support content creators directly through monthly contributions. In our case, they're monthly. Some places have it like per song or per video or whatever. Ours is a monthly contribution, and so we're going to our readers, to our viewers, to say, hey, if you like what we're doing, if you like the podcast, if you like the live streams, if you like the articles we do, the news we post, the technical analysis we do, it is getting harder and harder and harder to fund an outlet with this many people involved, especially that are frequently creating content based strictly on advertising. And so we're going to our readers and saying, hey, help us out. We want to be able to continue to do this. We don't want to have to go to third parties to sell the website, or to have other people managing advertising where maybe we have questions about what they're doing and why they're doing it. And we also don't want to all work at AMD or NVIDIA or Intel next week either. We like to do what we're doing, and we would like to have your support in doing it. So if you can afford to do so, it's not a requirement. We're not going to put the podcast behind a paywall. But like if you can do $10 a month, you'll get access to the PC Perspective mailbag show when we actually start to make that a day early before anyone else. So you can get all of the questions in early and listen to all our witty banter and discussion early as well. And we'll also actually take questions from patrons a little bit ahead of time as well, ahead of the general public, if you will. That's just one of the reward options for you as we try to get to our milestone goals. The next one of import would be, to do that PCPer mailbag show. So that would be neat for us. So again, patreon.com/PCPer. Thank you to anybody who's listening who has already contributed. And thank you to anybody who is going to or is considering to do so. Thanks, I guess. Thanks?
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.
All right, so let's get into the content for this week. Sebastian has a couple of stories. The first one we're going to talk about here, he has a synopsis for us ready for me since he's not on the show. This is the Scythe Ninja 4 SCNJ4000 CPU cooler, and it looks like that. What do you think?
I don't see it.
Nothing like
You
a
don't
ninja.
think that? Oh, you're listening on audio.
No, it's a ninja.
Oh,
Where
damn it! I
is
missed the joke. I thought the joke was going the other way.
No.
Scythe is a company that's been around for a long time. You can kind of tell based on their logo, but regardless, they make good products. Obviously, the type here with the name Ninja. Look at that Ninja on that. That is nice. They're aiming for
intimidating.
quiet. It is. They're aiming for quiet yet deadly or high performance. And it's even got a shuriken
and you can
on
take
top.
that apart and make shuriken out of it.
Yep.
Yeah, if you took every fin, yeah, that's like
That's a lot of ammo.
those are shurikens you could throw.
It's a good value.
You'd have to desolder. You think those are soldered together, right? You got to desolder all the heat pipes that go up through them. But
I just use a water cutter to be fine.
yeah, I see no problem with that. So this is a relatively, I guess, moderate cost. Let's say mid-range cost heatsink. It's $52. Which is more than some of the other, like the really popular Cooler Master 212, but way less than some of the other like Thermalright designs that have been out there. This offers a lot of flexibility. You can see you can actually have the fan installed in all four sides of the heatsink. It's easy for you to like basically mount it and then decide where your fan goes later, so you don't have to like remount if you don't want to. It's got a ton of heat pipes going through that baby, and the fan is designed to be quiet. Sebastian says that it is as close to silent as possible for an air cooler. It does see that screwdriver there? It comes with that screwdriver.
You're gonna need it.
You're gonna need
nice
it.
Screwdriver.
Yeah. It's. I mean, I had the same thing when I was installing that Noctua cooler today. It was like, okay, the installation process was as intelligently thought out as the cooling part of it, which is nice. Actual noise with low fan speed setting is actually well below 33 dBA, which is actually Sebastian's noise floor for the sound level stuff that he was using. So If we go down here, there
So
you
it
go.
was just as quiet as the room he was in.
Yeah, and that's at the low setting, and on medium setting, it's the same thing, and at high, it's only like 0.2 of a point higher.
Yeah.
All right, so even the Scythe Ninja 4 at high is not significantly, but is lower than the Corsair H100 GTX on quiet, or the Noctua NH-D14 SE at its quiet setting.
Yep.
Right, so that's pretty impressive numbers. And he does say that because of that, the noise level and the noise floor, it broke his testing process essentially. But in terms of performance, it's actually still pretty good. It's not the best cooler out there, like the EK XLC Predator 240 beats it, but that's a 240 millimeter like thick radiator with pump and all that stuff going on. And then the only two things.
And it's not $50 either, is it?
No, that's definitely true. The only two coolers that beat it are 240 millimeter radiators. Self-contained water coolers.
It's a $50 cooler?
Yeah, $52.95. So yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Wow.
Right? Yeah, very cool stuff. So that's the Scythe Ninja 4. I'll be honest with you. It got an editor's choice from Sebastian here. I am. I don't want to say falling in love. That's a little extreme. But I'm coming around back to the air cooler mentality of things for some reason.
And away from the self-contained water.
Yeah, and maybe it's because I build a lot of open test beds.
Yep.
And self-contained water coolers are not convenient for that form factor.
Yeah, you got
things hanging
it's
around. If you
hanging
want to
off
move
the side.
them, it's a pain in the ass. So with a standard air cooler, you don't have that problem. And so this would definitely have fit that bill for me. So Sebastian really likes it. If you're interested in a cooler for your system, check that one out. Next thing up, Logitech. This will be a short one as well. I did a short, not really a review, but more of an overview synopsis of the Logitech G502 Proteus Spectrum mouse. The G502 has been around for a while, at least a year, maybe 2 years. It is a very, very popular mouse with gaming community. I think it was called was it just Proteus Core, or was it just Proteus before? Proteus Core. The mouse is essentially identical to that, the new one. The Spectrum, as you might imagine, adds the functionality of an integrated RGB logo and what do you call those? The DPI indicator lights on it now can be controlled through RGB.
That weight system is kind of interesting.
RGB.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about RGB at CES, where everything has been RGBified.
Yeah.
And this is just another thing to be RGBified, honestly. If you don't care about the RGB, like the core model of the G502 is like $15 less, and it's an identical mouse. Same sensor, same weighting system, same cabling, same whatever. And I would heartily recommend that as well. You can see here, I mean, it's a wired mouse, which I know some people swear by, some people hate the supposed latency or whatever involved in wireless mice. There's something there, but it's probably not a big deal. But you can see in that container there, you've got some weights that you can add to the bottom of the mouse. I think they're 3.6 grams each. I think that's what they are.
Yeah.
And you can add up to all of those 5 to the bottom of the mouse. Really easy to access. It's just a magnetic door on it. I put all of the weights in there. I like my mice to be heavy. Not when I'm gaming, but when I'm working over at my desk and I'm doing Photoshop work and I'm doing like productivity stuff, a heavy mouse for me feels better, right? I'm less likely to over mouse when I'm clicking something, I guess, is one way to think about it.
And it won't move when you're clicking, and
That's true.
when you're doing very fine tuning on like crops and whatnot,
It's more dampened.
the extra weight is going to help you out there.
Thank you.
Plus, it's risky
And
to
when you're
work out.
correcting Ken, it helps as well.
Thank you.
Right, when you got to whip them with it.
Yeah.
Speaking of whipping somebody with it, it has a nice braided cord design. So it will be strong. So there's 2 types of cord designs. You can have like a braided fabric cord design like this, or you could have the kind of the rubberized thing. And my mouse cords go over the back of a desk.
Yep.
And if that desk edge has any sharpness to it, the rubber seems to get caught for me and, scuffs up or whatever. So I prefer the braided style here. You've got enough buttons, but not crazy amount of buttons, which some mice have. If you got 18 buttons on the thumb of your mouse, that's a problem. But it's got, you've got your DPI resolution changes. You've got your forward and back kind of typical buttons as well. The wheel can switch between free spin and click spin with one of those buttons on there as well. And I think for my hand size, which I consider to be average hand size,
You got
Works
nice
just fine.
cuticles too.
No, I don't. I chew. I bite my cuticles. Just look at my thumb. That's bad. That's not nice. That's
nasty.
I'm moving that on.
You gave me the HIV with that picture.
It is a very comfortable mouse. It works fantastically. This is the one I put on the gaming rig. The G502 is what I put on my system as well. It's just the one that I am most comfortable with. There's a lot of personal preference involved in picking your mouse. And you can see the RGB capability there, and you can go through it and change all the settings here. You can do different lighting effects, breathing or rotating through the different colors. You can...
Is there an off?
There is, yes, there's an off. You can also sync it with your keyboard, right? So the keyboard and mouse and even your headset...
Do the same color.
Be the same color. You can only adjust it one place. Now, to be honest, I'm going to be completely honest with you here.
Hey, be honest with us for a
This
change.
mouse RGB location, not ideal.
Where is it?
Underneath your hand.
Oh, underneath like your
Yeah,
palm.
see that logo right there?
Oh, you're covering it up.
You're covered up. When you're using the
Yeah,
mouse,
but
you're
isn't it
covering
going to
up.
be kind of like the car with the neon lights
Yeah,
underneath?
does it glow underneath?
You're going to get that
at all?
glow and then
underneath
not
my
the direct
hand
light.
or like on the bottom of the mouse?
Yeah, is
No,
there-
it does not. And that's something that was interesting because what's the other mouse, Ken, that we have back there? It's like a 303.
Yeah.
I think it's a G303 Daedalus or something like that.
Daedalus.
Daedalus, thank you. That has like lights that kind of emanate out the sides
Yeah.
of it, right?
And that one doesn't do it.
And this one doesn't do it because they basically knew that everybody liked the G502 as it was. They didn't want to screw with the design at all.
Huh.
The G502 has a normal LED on it, a single color LED.
Yeah.
There, so they just made it RGB essentially. $79 for the RGB model, $66 if you want the core model. And like I said, I have no problem with people going with the core model because the RGB is kind of hidden. But if you're just the kind of person that likes it all to match, you can do that now if you want to do it. So that's the Logitech G502. What else we got here? Oh, another Sebastian review. We should have Sebastian on this podcast every once in a while, probably.
You should. He's a nice young man.
I think that might be stretching it a little bit, Josh.
Okay, he's an adequate young man.
Yeah. Adequate
He's
seems like
personable.
what I would use to describe.
He has nice hygiene.
He's well focused.
He's a snappy dresser.
He showers every day, unlike Josh.
Once a week, whether I need it or not.
At CES, what did Corsair launch? The 400?
Mm-hmm.
Was that what it was? The Carbide 400C or was it Q and
C.
C?
Yeah.
Q for quiet and C for see-through. It has a window. I know. So those are just launching. We're getting some of those in, but Sebastian did post his review of the Carbide Series 600Q quiet full tower enclosure, and I like the way this one looks a lot. It's very kind of
Monolithic.
monolithic, matte. You know, like
Scandinavian.
Scandinavian in nature. I like the very kind of muted logo in the bottom right-hand corner. It doesn't come out and smack you in the face with it being an enthusiast case. But this is the most interesting part about it is that it is inverted.
Yep.
Everything is upside down. We didn't post that image incorrectly. It's larger than it looks in photos, Sebastian points out. It is a full tower design, and I agree. When you look at this picture, it kind of looks like a micro ATX chassis.
Yeah.
And also note the IKEA furniture with the perfect depth of field in the background there.
Yes.
Very nice. But it is an inverted case. Lots of capabilities and features in here. You do still have two 5.25-inch drive bays, Josh, so you can be happy about your optical media. But I mean, like the front of it, it just like if I saw that picture, I'd think it might have been a refrigerator with like the freezer up top, you know, type of thing. Like I said, I like the placement of the logo. You've got USB 3, two USB 3.0 and 2.0 ports on it. You got a 3-speed integrated fan controller on it. There's your two drive bays. Hidden away from view, and again the kind of inverted parts here because of the case interior. The Q model has this noise dampening material on the sides, the top, and the bottom. You can see it here, and it does a pretty good job of lowering noise. The C model has a window on the main side, so no need for noise dampening material because you're going to have this acrylic window. Anyway, fairly nice design, like the standard Corsair features that you're used to seeing, rubber grommets, all that type of stuff. Sebastian says it has excellent build quality, and it is the quietest case tested with his current review hardware. And that doesn't cover all of the cases that he's ever reviewed for us, but since he has switched over to the new review hardware set several months back, this is the quietest case that he's used thus far. Feels a little high for the pricing on this, $149.99, but could be worth it, he says, if you are really adamant about the silence part of this design. Something just feels off about inverted systems to me, but I mean, there you go. It's in there. Everything works upside down. As far as I know, electric still travels up as well as down when necessary, and vice versa.
My case at home is inverted.
Is it? Yeah. You have anything to worry about with water cooling stuff? No?
It was a water cooling case.
Yeah.
It worked just fine. Yeah.
So you can see he went through all the fan control software here. That all works. And then if we look at performance, you can look at CPU temperatures with his setup, CPU temperatures or GPU temperatures. And it does include an extra 140 millimeter fan, which is nice. And
I always
noise
like the inverted case because you can see like the GPU, like you can see the top, like you're looking at it top down from the side.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about what the back plate is. So if you look at this picture, you will see the top of his 290X graphics card there.
Yep.
As opposed to depending on that company to put a relatively interesting looking back plate on it. So
that light just got brighter for no reason.
Yeah, that light has issues.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't look at it; it won't look at you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, like I said, that is the Corsair. As he scrolls back up to the top, Carbide series 600Q case. That review is up on the website right now. Ken posted a story. Everybody.
What? Ken.
Dell Inspiron 15 7000 series, a specific model 7559, portable gaming on a budget. Ken, tell me all about this case.
Case?
Or the laptop, whichever one we're talking about right now. What's interesting about this laptop?
Do you like video games?
Yes.
How often do you play video games?
Not as much as I'd like.
He plays the
So you shouldn't buy a $3,000 gaming laptop.
Yes, I'm definitely a person that should not buy a $3,000 gaming laptop.
Could I interest you in an $800 laptop that also works well as a laptop and gets 6 hours of battery life?
Wait a minute. An $800 laptop that also works well as a laptop?
Well, gaming laptops don't work well as laptops.
Gaming.
Well, you just said laptop that works well as a laptop. You said gaming. So it confused me, and I needed to call you on that because I have a small ego, and I need to pad it with putting down others.
Oh my God, this explains so much of Josh's life. Oh my God. Okay. So this is an $800 gaming laptop that is just a laptop that happens to game, I guess is the way we would word this. So it's a Skylake processor. It's a quad-core, non-hyper-threaded processor, which is unique. I haven't seen a system with this yet. Others exist, but I haven't seen any or used any. It is, what's the screen size on this? 15-inch?
Yeah.
So it's a 15.6-inch, 1080p, matte finish screen. The keyboard and trackpad are okay. They're decent. They're not fantastic, but they're not awful. Build quality is good. It is a backlit keyboard. Ken is concerned about the hinges that we're showing there on the screen. And why is that, Ken?
They just kind of feel like they're going to break in 18 months. I can't quite describe the exact sensation, but they feel kind of loose already to begin with, and that they're very tiny. You know, on a lot of modern laptops, you see bigger hinges because when they make it bigger, it's less. It's not as likely to fail.
Okay.
Essentially.
Okay.
It seems like the same sort of hinge design we've seen on cheaper Inspiron laptops for the past 5 years, and there have been a lot of issues with hinges on cheaper laptops that you see.
Fair enough.
Wonder why they went quad core instead of like dual core hyper-threaded. Like,
so I mean, you get a little bit more performance out of it.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're also drawing more power, which seems...
Yeah. So I imagine what they're doing is they're balancing the gaming performance laptop versus the productivity performance laptop part of it. Right. So things like it has 8 gigs of memory, but it only has 1 DIMM slot populated. It has a 1 terabyte hybrid hard drive.
Seagate, no doubt. Looks
I
like
don't
it.
remember. Oh,
Send the
okay,
picture.
okay. A GTX 960M with 4 gigs of memory, for example, $799, a good price. The cool thing is there's only one screw to take out, and you can take off the whole bottom of the
Which
laptop.
is good because that's where the battery's hidden.
Yeah, the 74 watt-hour battery. It's a sizable battery. You can see the one free DIMM slot there. So if you want to make it 16 gigs of memory, you can just buy 8 gig DIMM from Newegg or Amazon or whatever and plop it in there.
That's nice.
You can replace the 2.5-inch drive if you want. Oop. Where's it at? Where's it at?
It's all the way over. All the way.
You can replace this 2.5-inch
the way.
drive if you want.
Whoa.
All right, that's a giant hard drive,
It's a giant hybrid
giant
drive.
hard drive. Or where's this part at? Am I going the right way? There it is. You
What?
can add an M.2 SSD if you want.
What type of M.2 SSD?
So we're not sure, to be honest with you. M-SATA is, or I'm sorry,
M.2
SATA.
SATA.
M.2 SATA is the safe bet. It's keyed to support PCIe.
It didn't seem to work initially. I didn't look very far into
Didn't
it
push
when
it.
we put
Well, there was a
PCIe
commenter
drive
on
in it.
YouTube that said they have one of these, they tried a PCIe SSD and it didn't work as well. I don't know which one they tried. Which one did we try? 950?
Yeah.
Well, that's an NVMe.
It shouldn't matter.
Oh,
If
really?
it's not the boot drive, it shouldn't
Yeah,
matter.
as long as you're not trying to boot off of it.
As long as you're in
Okay.
Windows, you should be able to view
I
any
would have
NVMe
liked to have
device.
tried an older PCIe M.2, one of the older Samsungs or something like that, but
But, I mean,
yeah. So in theory, it might work, and it maybe needs a BIOS update or something to support those. But the option is there for you to put a SATA M.2, and that's one of the reasons why the performance or the cost is so cheap on this. Is they went with bare minimum parts.
Yep.
But it's still pretty good. Like, you have 8 gigs, but it's single channel. I saw some people asking about that.
I mean,
It doesn't
you
really
get
affect
it-
performance.
You get an M.2 SATA SSD for pretty cheap and throw like a 2 terabyte just regular
yeah.
laptop hard drive in
Yeah,
there.
you could do that, or you could just get like a 500, plop it in there, make that your main drive, keep the 1 terabyte as your data drive.
Yep.
And so for the $799 start price, you get the options and the flexibility down the road if you want to do that. CPU performance is really, really good because it's quad core, like full quad core without requiring hyperthreading to get the 4 threads on there. You get performance way better than any other Skylake parts that we've had, and any of the Broadwell-based notebooks that we've tested that were all dual-core hyper-threaded. Makes sense. Quad core is going to be faster than dual-core hyper-threaded.
Yep.
That just kind of goes without saying. And it's interesting, like in Handbrake, it's actually a little bit faster than the MSI GS30, which used a Core i7 4870HQ, which was a quad-core hyper-threaded Haswell
higher
part.
clocked as well.
And with the higher clocks.
Huh.
Right. Now, it might have been throttling down some because of its thermal solution, but that's like what you get when you get a kind of a modest form factor notebook there. Now, in terms of gaming, that's a 1080p screen. It's a 960M GPU, so you're not going to run everything maxed out, but we were able to play Battlefield 4 1080p at high preset, Crysis 3 at 1080p medium preset, GTA 5 1080p at high-ish preset, and all hovering around 50 frames per second on that. You know, if you drop down your image quality settings, you can get that frame rate up there higher into the 60 range. If you want to kind of max out the refresh rate of the display, you can do that. So good graphics, good gaming performance, not awesome gaming performance, but for the price, for the package, for the trade-offs, it's actually pretty good. Battery life we tested at 5.8 hours. So, you know, it's not an all-day user for productivity,
Yeah.
but if you take it, if you're a student and you're leaving your dorm room and you take it with you and you have 2 classes you want to go take notes at, you don't have to worry about taking your power adapter with you. Most other gaming notebooks, you're going to have to worry about taking your power adapter with you, right? So that's a pretty big advantage for people there. $799. Ken did find a configuration on Amazon for the same $799 that actually swaps the 1 terabyte hybrid drive for a 256 gig SSD. We don't know if that's an M.2 or 2.5 inch.
Yeah,
do we?
no way to know.
We do not know.
Okay. And didn't it do something else? Or is that the only swap
That's the
that it
only
made? Dell offers other options. I think it's $200 more if you want to get the 4K touchscreen. And then $100 above that if you want to get
The i7.
the Core i7 versus the Core i5 part.
4K might not be a good idea given the GPU performance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. You're probably gonna have to turn the resolution down to 1080p to game anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't bother with that. This is going to be, I think, for the first half of the year, a fantastic selling notebook for people that like, hey, look, I got to get through school. I want to play some games. boom, done. $800 out the door.
Gotta play my Dota.
Gotta play so much
My
Dota.
league.
Josh has got to play so much Dota in his lull, if you could, right?
No.
No,
World of Warships is about what I'm doing right now.
it's about what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right now,
Racing
literally, I've
in
been
World of Warships.
Is that on the other
play.
monitor where we don't see?
What?
Is that on the other monitor we don't see, Josh?
Yeah, he's just got it running all the time.
Don't tell Ryan. So that's the Dell Inspiron 7000 series. The specific model we reviewed is the 7559. So you can check out that review up on the website as well. We don't have a sponsor for today's podcast, but we do have a sponsor for today's podcast. Think about it.
Okay.
Think about it. EVGA is hosting a contest on PCPer.com for the next 7 days or so. We'll announce the winner at the next podcast, or the winners will be up on the website at the next podcast, where we are giving away, with the thanks to EVGA, one EVGA 750G2 power supply, MSRP $125. One EVGA Z170 FTW motherboard, MSRP $189. One EVGA GTX 970 SSC Gaming ACX 2.0 Plus, $349 MSRP. We're going to draw 3 winners, one for each prize. We'll ship anywhere in the world. No restrictions on locale. They were just kind enough to donate these prizes to us to give away to readers of the site, viewers of the YouTube channel, that type of stuff. And we're not requiring you to sign up to Patreon to win. But the link is in there if you want to. We're just saying.
Highly encouraged.
It was interesting because we're according to the Patreon rules, we're not allowed to give people entries into contests in order to, as a reward for supporting the Patreon. But there's nothing that says we can't use contests to ask people to support the Patreon completely, right? So that's what we're doing. We're going to get some prizes from various people and sponsors to help us with that drive as well. And you can enter by signing up for the newsletter, subscribing to our YouTube channel, following us on Twitch, following us on Twitter, that type of thing as well. So just go to the homepage, look for the EVGA Winter 2016 prize pack and giveaway link, and that's what we're looking for. That's what you're looking for, and we're looking forward to giving it away to you. Josh, I want to ask you something.
No.
Ken, I'm going to ask you something.
Okay.
Josh, tell me, GDDR5X memory standard gets official with JEDEC.
Yep.
Do we know anything else about this from this release that's interesting at all?
Well, it doubles the size of the prefetch. So basically, when it goes out there, it says instead of grabbing 32 bytes, I'm going to grab 64 and I'm going to pull it. But it's still a same size bus, and it still runs about the same megahertz, but they're claiming that it's going to be double the bandwidth. Now, it's doubling the size of the prefetch grabs, but is it really doubling the bandwidth? And not only that, but you have to revise the memory controller on the GPU or whatever you're using to be able to handle this. And so that's really the only thing that they say is different. Now, they say the initial target is, 10 to 12 gigabit per second per pin. I think. Per pin? Is it? Anyway.
Yes.
With, a potential of 16. And we just don't have enough information, because I know you've talked to like Joe Macri, and he was kind of unenthused about it. He's like, nah, it's a small advancement. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Maybe he probably said more intelligent things than I just did, which I'm betting on. But
likely.
Yeah.
It's not hard
seems
to
like
up
it's an advanced, and it's going to take but it's going to take some redesign. It's going to take some work on AMD and NVIDIA's part to make this happen. And I'm just real curious if they're going to see the kind of payback in terms of performance that they're willing to invest that design time in, and all the verification. Because the difference between, and when they first started supporting GDDR5 and then NVIDIA when they came out, and how much extra work NVIDIA did to get their speeds up from what 5 gigahertz effective to 7 gigahertz effective. I mean, it was significant amount of engineering and a much larger memory controller to get that to do effectively. And I just kind of wonder what the actual payoff for these guys are to redevelop and add this support into their current memory controllers and the next generation memory controllers to handle GDDR5X. What do you guys think?
I kind of agree. I don't, like I said, the lack of enthusiasm I have seen and heard in discussions with people, engineers at both NVIDIA and AMD about the topic, leads me to believe that it's either not that big of a deal or it's so complicated and different to integrate that they just don't want to do it. I don't think it's insanely complex. They're really smart guys. I think just maybe the cost to benefit ratio might just be off for it. But it's still possible that we'll see maybe a Polaris Parts use it.
And how many other people are going to be producing this? Is it just Micron?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, maybe because you really have to kind of ask yourself, only one group that is producing that, would you want to kind of put all your eggs in one basket? And it's like, right. Hey, I've redesigned my controller. I've got my top to bottom, well, maybe top to mid-range, doing GDDR5X, and top end, of course, is HBM2, but yeah, suddenly they can't supply enough. You're not going to sell enough video cards. You can't go to Elpida. You can't go to anybody else for memory.
Or you tie up all of the supply for the other guy.
Yes.
Sure. just out of spite. I mean, yeah.
We implemented it just so you can't.
Yeah. I think we'll know more by mid this year whether or not anybody's going to use this. I mean, I know for sure we'll know by the mid this year if anybody's going to integrate this. I just know that the kind of hyperbole of this slide is exaggerated, right? Like, if it were really doubling the throughput of GDDR5, everybody would be
signing on.
They'd be jumping on
board. They'd call it GDDR6.
Yeah. Yeah, and also it wouldn't just be GDDR5X. So interesting, and we'll be following it regardless. Jeremy, do you know anything about this report of Intel's Tigerlake? Apparently the company's third 10-nanometer CPU that will be following up all of the other stuff that we've seen, right?
Well, I don't know why you'd build a cannon out of ice to fire tigers at a lake, but that's what Intel's doing.
Yeah.
There's some really interesting things coming out of this. One, to get the bad news out of the way, this does sort of look like we're seeing a slowdown from Intel. The 2-year manufacturing pace is going to be slowing down because, competition not quite there. On the other hand, instead of getting two processor builds on the 10-nanometer node, we're getting 3. So we're going to see Cannon Lake come out relatively soon, we hope, which will immediately be followed by Ice Lake. And Tiger Lake, they're saying about 2019-ish. We'll sort of see if they keep up with that. But it's sort of nice to see another 3 processor architectures coming off of this single node, especially since 7-nanometer is going to be it's going to be a real bitch. And they're not even saying second half of 2020 at the earliest. And when Intel's saying at the earliest, they're obviously not pushing hard at it. So I don't think it's going to be 2020. It's going to be a couple years after that. It's hard to say exactly what this is going to give us, apart from, much better heat to power performance. We don't have a lot of details on it, but it's going to be nice to see, and I wish that they'd made those slides bigger because they're really hard to read.
Yeah.
So expect 2018-ish to start to see Cannon Lake coming out, 2019-ish for Ice Lake, and then, we'll see when Tiger Lake comes out.
It's disappointing to see the TikTok relegated to TikTok or TikTok. I can never remember which is which. in this case, but it does kind of make sense. I think it is two factors, right? As you mentioned, it's definitely lack of competition, and it's also probably a complication of technology. If there was strong competition, would they probably put more resources into it to figure out the technological issues, and maybe be willing to lose some more profit margin at the expense of figuring out those issues? I think the answer is yes.
Absolutely. And especially considering, as you were saying at the beginning, they're branching out into drones and bicycles and, trying to slap their Edison processor in everything. Right. I think you're going to see these really small process nodes being used for that ultra low power computing. It's going to be kind of neat to see over the next couple of years exactly what Intel sort of does to try and pick some new competition, pick new market segments to break into, and then watch them lay waste to the competition as they usually do, because they got some really deep pockets.
Yeah, I agree. All right, let's talk about the other side of the coin here. AMD apparently showed off the probably we thought it had all been forgotten about Dual-Fiji graphics card. So this is Dual-Fiji on one card graphics card that doesn't really have a name, but I have named the AMD Radeon Fury X2. Is apparently still alive and well, or at least alive. It was this picture posted on Twitter by Antal, who is one of the PR guys over at AMD, with the text "Prototype Tiki from Falcon Northwest powering HTC Vive with Dual-Fiji AMD Radeon," and it was confirmed that this is a dual, not two cards in a system, but one card with two GPUs on a system, and it likely still looks like that.
They put it in a case. That's like when they had that Nano in a case.
Yeah.
They're like, can I just look in the? No,
you
I can't
cannot.
look in the case. No.
But trust us, it's in there. So why is this important? Basically, so if you remember this product, it was shown for the first time in June.
Yes.
2015. And in the
But
June,
it's already out, right?
Oh yeah, no. And
That's what they told us.
In June, they promised it would be out in, what did they say, October?
Yeah.
What did I say here?
Of this year?
Fall, I think.
Fall, is that what they said?
This year?
No.
Let's see. Promised it to the enthusiast market by, quote, fall of 2015.
Oh.
And then back in October, we had a news post about hints that the card might be coming soon because it had shipping manifest that had leaked with like listing of the part. Gemini. Is it Gemini?
Yeah.
I thought Gemini was the NVIDIA one.
No.
No? Okay. Whatever it was, like the code name for the product was showing up and these manifests. We thought, we're actually getting close to it now. And then, nobody hears anything. It turns out there's not a huge demand for this type of performance yet. I think there's more than maybe they'd like to admit. But they're showing it at the VRLA show, which is a VR kind of public demonstration exhibitors type thing in Los Angeles area. And they were showing it with that, which gives credence to the thought that AMD is going to kind of retarget this part as, hey, this is the card for VR. The best performance card for VR. It can make sense, right? The idea is...
What makes this card so special specifically for VR?
Just because it's two GPUs.
One GPU per eye.
Yes.
But you can't do that with two physical
Well, you
GPUs?
could. Sure, you could. But like form factor wise, but if you want a card that is the best for VR, they could make the argument that this is it.
I mean, they could also argue that's like the best card for everything.
You are not incorrect.
I'm sure they will.
I'm sure they'll. Yes, exactly. I'm sure they'll make that.
If
that
you want
point very
like
clear.
a card performance, like sure.
If you want a card that is kind of fast sometimes, yeah. No, I don't necessarily disagree with that. And I've been having some interesting discussions with parties on both sides here about like what are the positives and the negatives to multi-GPU in a VR environment, because you still have the debate of
You got latency potentially.
multi-GPU adds latency.
Yeah,
But there are ways around that.
sure.
And they're talking a little bit about it that I'm not allowed to talk about yet in terms of what the software and hardware technology is changing to allow for that. Because you have to fundamentally change the architecture if you want to have non-additional latency. Like
I can kind of see how this works, because
go for it.
and maybe I can talk about this and theorize,
You gotta
because
talk to me
you've
about
got
it.
two different viewports and you've got a scene with geometry and all those things about it, you send that same setup to both, except of course you move
Have
the
an offset.
perspective for a couple of degrees for one eye versus the other. So your geometry setup and all of that is the same. It's just rendering the pixels that's going to be given to each one, and you can keep those two in sync. You don't have to do one then the other, one and the other, one and the other. It's
That is true.
Yeah,
you could actually do
You just
the
do one
API
GPU per
to
eye.
do the same scene, but it's you rotate a couple of degrees for one. So I can see in software how that would possibly
traditional
work.
AFR won't be a big benefit to VR. Traditional alternate frame rendering
Right.
is where you're kind of
Yeah.
you run into the
get
latency and
sick.
pacing
Yeah.
issues,
Yep.
right? And frame consistency is way more important with VR than it was in
Yeah.
our gaming, and we saw how important it was to our gaming, like normal LCD panel.
Yep. But if you're just rendering two scenes from two different point of views simultaneously,
But they have
No,
to
it's the
do-
same scene, just two
well,
different.
it's from two different
skewed.
viewpoints. Yeah, it's from two
But-
different viewpoints.
Yeah, but they have to be. You still have timing issues, right?
Well,
you still have.
I mean, the timing issues wouldn't be as bad because you have two GPUs doing each doing the same thing. It should
Almost
take,
the same thing.
but it should take all like the same amount of time. Is my point.
I mean, you could see how one viewport might be able to see something the other one can't. Obviously, it can, and that
Sure.
start
yeah, but
to
you've got
affect
so many
things.
hidden surfaces anyway, and they've got
Yeah.
things to take those hidden surfaces, but you don't really have to in certain of these applications.
Yeah,
And that leads to the question, is there an inherent benefit running it off of the same PCB, the same memory pool, as composed to over an SLI or a Crossfire connection?
you could see that if they
You
were
still
actually
don't have the same memory pool.
Yeah,
Well,
those cards are going to
but-
have those GPUs
True.
have two different
But
memory.
what if they could?
What if they were shared?
What if you had a shared or some portion of it shared?
Yeah, but how do you do that with HBO?
Yeah,
HSA, dog.
Yeah,
HSA.
Yeah.
Oh man.
You've got a flat address space.
What if you
can
have?
yeah.
What if you have
same damn thing as two processors sharing a memory?
an interposer the size of a dinner plate? Okay.
Oh, so this isn't going to be a nano.
and then you put four Polaris
Oh, back in the
GPUs on
day.
it, and then one pool of memory.
Oh, you're talking everything on one big interposer.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
If we could
kinda
make
cool.
one.
Make an interposer the size of a dinner plate.
How quickly Maury would crack that?
Yeah, well, he doesn't have to. Though somebody else will install a heatsink on it. It won't be Maury.
Okay.
So that's a long-winded way of saying what some people saw at the VRLA show. But it's interesting to talk about, and I think we'll know more soon. When's GDC?
Wink, wink.
Late March, mid March.
Usually
Well,
early.
I think it's mid March, the
it's
14th to the
mid-March, I
17th.
think.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you think about AMD is probably going to launch graphics cards in the second half of the year, they kind of got to push this one through.
Yeah, if they're going to launch this card at all, this has to be.
Yeah, if they're
relatively
gonna
soon.
start at the high
you're
end
right.
at least with the new architecture.
But they could still release this as not a VR specific card.
They
Like
could.
if the software and the architecture is not there to really promote multi GPU for VR,
which it isn't yet.
it's not there yet. It's really not. But yeah. Anyway, cool nonetheless. What else is interesting is the new NZXT Manta Mini-ITX chassis.
It's
Did
pregnant.
Aquaman bring this into life?
It's odd.
Looks kind of weird.
This picture, like if you look at this photo that we're, and if you're listening to the podcast,
I think my cat kind of spit up something like that.
very- use a fisheye lens?
It looks like yeah, you're right. It looks like a fake photo.
It's
right?
organic.
It looks like they shot it with a fish.
It looks like they shot with a fisheye. Here's an exploded view, and it looks a little bit less fisheye-y there. But this is actually really cool. So keep in mind, this is a Mini-ITX chassis. This is built for Mini-ITX motherboards, and on the front panel of it, you have like the mesh front. You have what I assume is an air filter there. Oops, an air filter, and then you have two fans.
I think
A 240 rad.
It's just a support,
Oh, okay.
which it needs. Damn it!
Yeah.
Okay, maybe the filters in the front part. There's got to be a
Yeah.
filter there. You got
gusset.
two 120 millimeter fans, a radiator, and then two more 120 millimeter fans all in the front. And up top, you have room for another radiator, two fans, and the cover grill. Then you've got a fan on the back. And this. Like I said, this is a Mini-ITX chassis.
Can you even make that much heat out of what you can plug into a Mini-ITX machine?
It's a good question.
I mean,
supports up to 280 millimeter in the front.
Get that VGX too.
Yeah, 280 millimeter up top and a 120 in the back. It has 3 2.5-inch bays, 2 3.5-inch bays, and this is a picture of the front to top.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's the front.
Like it's bulbous.
Bulbous.
Is that I don't know.
Yeah.
Front view.
it's guppy.
It's
got curves.
It's so weird.
Looks like my last cod piece.
I don't know what to say about that.
But you definitely want to make sure it's got positive pressure or it'll implode.
What was it? Xbox called their system design the inhale. This is the exhale.
This is a belch.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is, oh god, I ate a lot of
It's so
chili.
weird. It's $139. It's going to be available in February. It's up for pre-order now. I think it's an interesting design. Like, I'm all about like unique case designs because cases tend to be boring. And this could be really cool looking in person. It seems a little bit big for Mini-ITX form factor. Like, there's no reason this shouldn't be a micro ATX at least chassis.
Do you really need like double 240 rads with like quad fans on one of them for? I'm just still baffled by the need for that much cooling on a Mini-ITX
I don't
machine.
disagree. So even if like your CPU cooler's using a 280 and your GPU's using a 280, that's essentially what you're asking for here.
I guess.
Right? That's what you're doing. And it's on a Mini-ITX platform, which
And you
build a
put one
Mini-ITX
of the Radeon Furies in there.
but you can only fit
Nanos.
one. You can only fit
Yeah,
one because
you
it's
can only fit
Mini-ITX.
Yeah, the Nano will be just fine in there. It'd be running full speed.
We buy that EK water block with the Nano.
Right. It's a weird case. I think Hardware Canucks has a review up of it already. They're gonna NZXT is gonna send us one for review. So Sebastian, prepare yourself. It's in an interesting spot because it's almost as big as like some sizable micro ATX cases, right? In terms of volume.
9.6, 16.7 by 17.7 in your funny measurements.
It's bigger than some micro
It's
ATX
big.
cases.
Is it?
Yeah. I think it's bigger than one of NZXT's own micro ATX cases.
I'd be
it's
curious
bigger
to
than
see
my-
people who like this explain why. Like, why do you want a Mini-ITX case that's bigger? Right?
Yeah.
If you want a Mini-ITX case that's bigger, get a micro or a full-size ATX case.
They like
I don't
big,
know.
beautiful, wide cases.
And you know what? There's something for everybody out there.
Like
isn't
your
there?
cases, like you like your women.
There's something
Yep.
for everybody out there.
Bulbous.
We're going to end our show with our picks of the week. Before we get to that, one quick reminder again of our PCPer racing stream that will be tomorrow, January 28th at 5:30 Eastern Time. We'll be giving away this device here, the Thrustmaster T150 racing wheel and pedals set. Even though it says PlayStation on the thing there, it will work with the PC.
It most certainly does.
Yeah. MSRP of $199. We're going to give that away during the live stream. We plan on playing, apparently, according to Josh's post here, Dirt Rally, Project Cars, and Assetto Corsa.
Yeah, maybe.
I've never played that one.
Yeah, it's apparently quite good. And if there's enough, then maybe we'll just get some Dirt 3 in there, since pretty much everybody owns that title.
It's true.
And get some people racing around, do some stages, a little rallycross.
King Kukulu says he wants it. Just give it to him now. Sorry, no. You have to come to the live stream tomorrow.
Well, he keeps wanting to win the car.
This is
Oh,
like
that's right.
winning a
He is
car.
winning the car. This is close to winning the car.
Well, it's the
It is.
first piece.
Well, eventually, the contest for the car is still ongoing. So this is kind of like a sub contest.
I think it's only for Patreon subscribers.
The car contest is only for Patreon's supporters, for sure. So our thanks to Thrustmaster for supporting us with that, and we'll have Josh. You actually have that in hand, is that correct?
I do. So as soon as we get a winner, I will post some postage on it
Kick
and
butt.
kick it
Yeah.
out the door.
But, like, it's coming from Wyoming, so it'll probably take 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, at least, because it's got to be packed out on mule.
They don't get stuck on a snowbank.
Yeah.
Oh man.
It is wintertime, so
Before we get into our picks of the week, thanks to Porcelain Head, who contributed to our Patreon while we were doing the show.
All right.
I just wanted to pick one that came in. So thank you, sir, for contributing. I'm sure it was during one of Josh's monologues that you did so
Probably.
as well.
You poor man. He's probably like, I will contribute
make
if you
it
shut him
stop,
up.
Make it stop.
No, they're just other tab. Okay, and ignore Josh. Oh, Patreon.
Next week we'll have Allyn will have an interesting project to talk about
I will.
involving multiple M.2 950 SSDs.
Yep.
And what else will we have to talk about next week? We'll be ready to talk about Rise of the Tomb Raider benchmarks. And we're planning something really cool.
I think we should talk about that after the stream.
After
on
the stream? Okay. All right, we'll do that.
Yeah.
For people who are watching live.
This is why you got to watch live. We talked about stuff after the show.
live.
Secrets.
Yep.
And we'll post the live. We could post the post lives to the Patreon after each week if we keep recording it.
Yeah.
That sounds like a thing we can do. Anyway, let's get on to our picks of the week, guys. Here, mine is this little guy, the FLIR One thermal imager.
Should have grabbed it.
It's in my it's whatever.
It's really small.
It's like this picture shows. It's small. This is a thermal imaging camera for iOS. They sell one for Android devices as well. Essentially, it's just you have a Lightning connector or a micro USB connector. The app works the same. So the FLIR One displays live thermal infrared imagery using the FLIR One iPhone app. It has two cameras on it. It has two. You can see here. One of them is infrared. One of them is standard.
It's just like a regular cell phone camera.
Yeah, and what it does is it overlays the standard camera image over the infrared image with an outline kind of filter on it, like a.
Helps you get an idea of like.
It shows you some structure behind what you are looking at on the thermal
That
imaging.
Photoshop filter that made it look like it's a pencil sketch.
Yeah.
Like it basically does that.
It's like artificial sharpening on top of the thermal image.
It does that to like the regular image it takes, and then overlays that.
You should pull up some of the sample pictures from Twitter that you posted.
Yeah, you posted a few pictures. On
Oh,
Twitter
did I do that? Yeah. Okay.
Did I do that?
Did I do
that?
Yeah.
So here's this question for you guys. So
I'm
you
listening.
can't get IR images through glass. So what do they use as a lens on that product?
Plastic.
It's
No.
it's not a glass thing on the front of the IR camera.
It is a lens, though.
You told me and I forget.
Think about it.
Is it your butt?
No, it's not my butt.
Oh.
Tell me what it is.
Something that doesn't reflect
I think
infrared.
it's galenium.
Oh, no wonder it costs so much.
It is a $250 device.
Yeah.
It lets you take cool pictures like this though. So here's a GTX 980 running on our old GPU test bed, and you can see. I actually like the fact that you can see the outline of the BioShock poster in the background as well, which is kind of interesting. And so it adjusts the range of colors based on some different options you can set, and it changes based on what is actually in the image.
Yep.
So this is the GTX 980 in there. This is the same GTX 980 looking at it from the top, so you can see the SLI connectors in there. White is the hottest area there. You can see it was up to 149 degrees.
That's hot.
It's hot on that. This is the thing that Al's working on. This is the triple M.2 SSD project.
Yep.
Working there.
Working its butt off.
Yeah. Look how hot that controller is. 180 degrees on there. That was without fan on it at all.
Yep.
But, so this is what we're doing with that. We're going to add that type of data into GPU reviews, SSD reviews, control, whatever is interesting.
Whatever's hot.
Right.
Whatever's hot.
Now they they don't say it's only for people who are testing equipment, right? So there are other uses for this camera add-on for your phone or tablet is to like find leaks in windows or doorways or vents or something like that. So this guy's holding it up to, I don't know what.
I think he's looking for a water leak.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. That's a thing. See, look at that. You can, I was thinking only air leaks, but yeah, you could do it for that. This woman is seeing how hot her wieners are on the skillet.
Hot or not?
Right? This person is seeing if the HVAC in his car is functioning correctly, I guess.
So if you were
Actually, I need to borrow this.
And yeah, here's a person that they're finding leaks in their windows. Like where are they finding drafty windows at,
Because
right?
summertime, leaks are a problem.
no, it's winter.
in both times. So the FLIR One thermal imager for iOS, it's actually $249. Don't buy it for over that. You can
Good luck finding it literally anywhere.
It's been out of stock for months and months and months.
Yeah.
And I ended up finding it on BH Photo.
Yeah, it might be
actually. It might still be in stock there if you go to B&H Photo.
My only gripe with it is they don't give you the scale.
They don't show the scale on the
They don't
screen.
show you. You can do the little crosshair in the center, and that'll show you the temperature right in the middle.
Yep.
But, I mean, it knows what range of temperatures it's showing you. It knows what it's auto-scaling to. But they just don't give you that option for, because if you ever look at a regular thermal image, typically there's a scale on it.
Right.
You have colors. You want to know what the colors
Most things that are
mean.
maps have scales.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially heat map kind of things, like color.
I'll
gradients.
send them a note and see what they say, but I don't know.
And a multicolored banana on the side.
It has different types of, you can choose different color scales.
Yes, you can have a rainbow scale. You can have
there's
whatever
different
the other
ones.
ones are.
I think it's worth sending him a note though and seeing if they can.
Yeah, I could do that.
Because if they can do it, it would just be like an app update. Because all the data is going through the app.
Oh,
so
for
it's
sure.
just, which is handy, right? That you don't have to
Yep.
you don't have to get a new version of the FLIR just
Right.
to add something like that.
So that's what that is. That's my pick. Expect to see that used in content coming up soon. Jeremy.
Well, this is something that has been around for a while, and I've meant to mention it a couple of times, just found a better pick. But Shodan.io sort of matches with my milieu of bitching about the Internet of Things and how ridiculously insecure it is. So here is a search engine which allows you to take a look at freaking everything unsecured that's connected to the web, from baby cams to SCADA devices in power plants. The idiots that leave default passwords on, just the people that don't secure it whatsoever. It's a really great tool for security professionals. It's a terrifying tool for voyeurs. And it just sort of goes to show you how ridiculously insecure having an internet-enabled toaster with a webcam really is.
Hey, you leave my toaster out of this.
Hey. Well, in your case, I'd be worried about people knowing how many times you order, what is it, you've got the Pampers and the Tide buttons?
No, it's Glad garbage bags and Bounty paper towels. Thank you. But those devices are actually powered off unless you hit the button.
Good.
Because they run
See,
on
now that
batteries.
makes sense. Because unfortunately, there's people who do, literally, they're it's awesome. I can watch my baby camera from work because it's over my phone.
Mm-hmm.
I never changed the password on it because why would I worry about that?
Yeah, that's not the smartest.
You frickin' morons. So if you really want to be terrified, or if you've ever been in an argument with somebody telling them, look, secure things, you're an idiot for not doing it, up to and including security systems. Show them this, have them sign up and do a couple of searches and bring a spare pair of underwear for them with you at the same time.
Fair enough. All right. Shodan. What's the URL for that again?
Shodan.io. And
.io.
also, perfect name. Thank you, System Shock.
Yep.
All right, Josh.
Me. So I had a bit of a heartbreak today. It was a rough one.
Okay.
Was there a tear in your beer?
Yes, may have been. So I went to the liquor store and I saw the Celebrator, the box, the 4-pack, the one I've been thinking about. I've been thinking about Doppelbock. I wanted something a little bit stronger, something maltier, nicer. And I saw it there and I grabbed it and I bought it and it was like $12.46 for a 4-pack.
Ooh.
You got to know how much I want this beer. I put it in my refrigerator to cool down and I go to get it and I grab one out and I see that something's wrong with the label. Somebody replaced all the Doppelbock with Hefeweizen. I don't want Hefeweizen. I wanted a Doppelbock, and I paid $12.46 for the damn thing.
That's almost the dire
So I want my
opposite of a
Doppelbock, damn it, and I want the little plastic ram on the front. I can use as ornaments. I've got about 750 of them in my house already, but damn it, I want more.
Okay.
I know, I would have shipped you some Herminator.
6.7%.
No, this is more like 8.7.
Thing of
but it's a
beauty.
good ice
Instead,
buck.
I got Hefeweizen. It's yak piss. Yeah.
That really is about the exact opposite of what you'd want to drink if you're
Yeah.
looking for a double bock.
Yes, it is.
It does not hit the spot in the same
Oh
way.
man.
No.
No, that's for sitting in the sun at a ballpark,
Yeah.
not for
And
drinking.
for
in the
people who
winter.
put fruit in their beer,
I like a good Hefeweizen.
you would.
Yeah, you would.
Disconnect Josh and Jeremy now. Allyn,
Heathens.
up next.
So, free app that lets you find stuff, kind of like how Craigslist is for your area, except this is like distance based from where you are.
Not text based.
Okay, why is there a $20 face mask?
I don't
It's
know.
not a face mask. That's a balaclava.
So what it does is it like as you scroll down, you're actually moving further away from
Okay.
where you are.
Okay.
Uh,
Ooh, a Walking Dead iPhone case.
and I ended up picking up a BB-8 for like pretty much a steal, like a little Sphero BB-8 thing that I guess somebody got for Christmas and didn't want.
Where do people post to this specific site to list it on this, or is this like
Yeah.
filtering Craigslist or something?
No, it's on that site.
It's actually pretty popular.
It seems to be. It seems to be
Wallapop?
getting. Yeah, it's just.
What's the one I see
it's just
advertised on
Wallapop.
TV?
It might be this one, actually.
No,
Yeah.
it's like sell this. It's like something very specific.
The one that's like to get rid of it right away.
Yeah,
or
like he's
something.
hanging from his car over a cliff. But he's
Yeah.
holding a bowling ball. He's like, "Oh, it's my favorite bowling ball." I was like, "I'll tell you what, we'll sell it." And the guy shows up on a helicopter and
Yeah,
takes it
I
from
don't
him.
know.
Anyway, so this is idea.
It's the same kind of thing, but it's like it's just like what's like right around you. You kind of like flip through it. You see something good.
This
you
is
can-
like the worst thing.
I don't know. It's like
It's like I don't know what to do. So where can I give my money?
I scored
for something that I
so-
obviously
sometimes
have not looked.
Sometimes you can only get a certain kind of really good deal
Like,
on
check
something.
out this Green Lantern hat. Yeah, but how long did you have to scroll to find a BB-8?
It was.
Because I
what-
see no BB-8s.
It was
on this.
because I bought them.
Hey, look at that cam cover.
Yeah, see, look, automobile
Come
report.
on.
$1.
Yeah,
Look at
Alan.
that.
What
See,
is
it's
that?
$1.
See, if
It's
only
$1, and we can put it in your garbage can.
if only I
That
needed
works.
that. We can
All I
put
gotta
it in
say
your
is
garbage
yours is
can.
a lot better than mine. I'm getting like sexy Snow White.
Nice. How about a 2001 Honda Civic for $2,700? See?
Well,
How about the
Definitely
Breaking
not-
Bad T-shirt?
Or pedicure chairs. What are we? Or a murdering axe.
all right. Well, we are in Kentucky.
With blood spatters. On the
Ooh, a power
That's a
chair. I could use a
pretty cool
power,
power
chair.
chair.
I could use a power chair.
Ooh, Golden Compass. It's even branded.
This is just like this is like sitting at your house going yard sailing, I guess.
Yeah.
Wait,
Right?
what,
Somebody
what,
selling
what
a
is
car
that
battery
thing?
for $50.
Stop.
Which one?
Fisher Price. My little.
It's a
Speedy
swing.
Deluxe
It's a swing.
So you want that for your child after it gets. Did someone get murdered in that, or does it just look bad?
It's probably
6
just
to
what it
1.
looks like to you, yeah. How about 4 good tires for sale? They're 205 55 R16.
Okay, there's a guy in Brooklyn selling his old PC for $703,346.
Must be a pretty good PC.
Remote control helicopter
Looks
for
like a Dell.
$25.
This is so weird. I
That
could
looks
see
like
how
a Sempron sticker.
I could see how I will never show
The
this to my
T-shirt. Did you
wife.
see the T-shirt? That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That's not how where you wear a ring.
How about a Playboy Matchbox car?
Ooh.
I read
Well,
it for the articles.
I don't get this. Anyway, that is our hardware software picks of the week. If you're interested, you can go to change.org and search for the Sebastian Peak Come Back to PCPer Livestream petition that has already been started. It is linked in there. It's already up to 4 supporters.
All right.
Kali says he's just a boy, leave him alone, is the comment on that one. It's pretty funny, actually. So there's that. What else do I got for you? PCPer.com/podcast is where you can find all the back episodes. Thanks to support of our patrons on patreon.com/PCPer. We now have a video RSS feed you can download there. If you want to get a 720p like 1.5 gigabyte version of our podcast every week, you can do that if
pretty
you want
big.
to. It's a fairly large file.
If you just want to waste all your gigabytes, just
You can waste
download
all
those.
of your gigabytes. Don't forget, tomorrow we have our racing live stream. Come hang out and have fun. Even if you don't have racing games, if you don't want to play, just watch a stream, hang out, listen to us, drink beer, and make fun of other people as we go throughout the day.
And
which is-
and put your name in for free hardware.
Yeah, and even if you're not racing, you don't have to race to win. You just have to be there and watching and participating in the fun having to win.
But if you want an extra chance, just sit beside Ryan and make a solid wall of cars all across the lanes so that Josh just can't finish a lap.
Yeah, if we do that, we don't have to drive backwards. He's a guy to go through it.
What if you drive in reverse? Does that work?
You still go in the wrong direction.
Yeah, Josh said if you
have 15 seconds.
Yeah. See, this is not realistic, and frankly, I am not.
What if you turn around and drive reverse the right way? That'd be interesting.
I guess you could do that. It's probably not very productive. So that's gonna be it for the show for us for this week, guys. As I look at the calendar, I don't think anything else is gonna keep us from doing a show next week, and I plan on being in town.
I won't be here.
Yeah, Ken says he's not going to be here next Wednesday.
So definitely tune in.
So we're not going to do a podcast then. That's what you're saying.
I'll figure something out.
No, every time Ken goes away on a Wednesday, we realize that we didn't need Ken here. And Ken gets very sad for the next couple of weeks.
Oh.
And he breaks everything.
They're probably going to fire me. Yeah, something like that. So thank you, everybody, for hanging out. PCPer.com/podcast, like I said, patreon.com/PCPer if you want to support more amazing content like the stuff you just saw here for the last hour, I guess. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Bye, everyone. I'm Ryan Shrout.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Alan Mamontano.
Goodbye. If you enjoyed this content, consider supporting in-depth technical content by contributing at patreon.com/PCPer.